Bob, they put a mask on the Texas Ranger. I think that would piss him off.
I would think so.
Hey guys,
I'm Bob.
I'm Barb, and together we make up
HetteshWorld.
Today is Ford Truck Ride Day. So where did we ride to, Bob?
We went to Waco, Texas.
Texas Ranger Museum. So today's video is covering the historical center of the Texas Rangers. This was actually one of my favorite places to go because I found it so interesting and I learned so much when I was there. So I really enjoyed it. We're Bob and Barb. We've lived by the rules all of our lives, but in 2020 we threw that rule book out the window. We sold our home and moved full-time into an RV with our cat Amelia, and from now on we will be living life our way. Don't you want to come travel in our world? Now, the Texas Ranger Museum is in Waco, Texas, so it's located on the banks of the Brazos River. The cost to get in is $8 for adults, $4 for children, and $7 for military and family. So the Texas Rangers actually began 198 years ago in 1823. Back then, America was nothing like it is today. You know, it was just open frontier land. People were moving from, place to place, trying to figure out where they were going to live. There were different fractions living in different areas that didn't always mingle well together. And they were kind of established to start kind of like rules and laws and areas and protect the frontiers people that had moved in. So this museum has over 14,000 artifacts, and it does detail the entire history from the very beginning all the way up to the day of the Texas Rangers. They do have a Hall of Fame, which does reflect the top 30 Rangers also here. They either lost their lives on the job, doing something great for somebody else, or made major contributions to the program. It says, Jack Hayes, the Texas Ranger, gained a national reputation in the Mexican War. Into Mexican Road, Hayes Rangers. Out of Mexico came a mounted, irregular body of Rangers celebrated in song and story throughout the United States. This transformation, in fact and fiction, started with the formation of the 1st Regiment Mounted Riflemen under Colonel Hayes. Pretty neat. So when the Rangers first came in, from the very beginning up till about the Civil War, there was a lot of fighting and controlling of the Indians that were there and pushing them off into different areas to make space for the frontiers people that were coming in. It's kind of a very ugly period of time. Very rough, very dangerous, very scary for both sides. Now, the Texas Ranger makeup from the very beginning all the way up to even today is very multicultural. You do have your Anglo-Saxon that were there in the beginning, but you also have your Latinos that came in and were part of it, and you do have your African Americans that were freed slaves that came in and were part of it also. The Texas Rangers were very tough men. They dealt with a lot of incredible situations, not only with maybe dealing with the Indians, they were dealing with stuff that was happening over what we call the border today, as well as crime in the United States as it was developing. The Texas Rangers continued to grow. What's kind of neat about them is that they had nothing to help them. They had to figure things out. They had to create things. They had to develop things. So a lot of the Texas Rangers of today use the things that these people created and have fine-tuned them into being a very well-run organization. But they are into very much heavily forensic research. They are the top in the country when it comes to that. We were told while we were there that they have been told not to help the Border Patrol with the situation that's going on right now. So something I found very interesting when I was there, and I didn't realize it, is that Bonnie and Clyde. So let's talk about Bonnie and Clyde. Everybody knows about Bonnie and Clyde. If you've not, watch the movie. It's a pretty interesting movie. But who took them down was the Texas Rangers. And I've seen the movie, and I somehow missed that. The Texas Ranger was one that was in retirement, and he didn't want to come out of retirement. He had seen a lot, done a lot, he was done. But Bonnie and Clyde were causing all of this, chaos across the country. So they went ahead and convinced him to come out. And he's the one that studied them and understood their patterns and then figured out a way to trap them, when they were coming down that road so that they could take them out and finish them once and for all. So that was very interesting. Something I found totally amazing when I was there is the Lone Ranger The Lone Ranger career in law enforcement began in Texas a few years after the Civil War. Following family tradition, he joined the Texas Rangers to maintain law and order along the Rio Grande. Ranger John Reed's personal vendetta against injustice is traceable back to an ambush between a 6-man Ranger detachment and a member of the notorious Butch Cavendish gang. 5 Rangers, including the Lone Ranger's brother Dan, died. He was a Texas Ranger. I mean, it's not the actor or anything like that, but based loosely around a Texas Ranger who was known as the Lone Ranger. And most of the Rangers worked together in groups. They solved things together. This guy was just someone who worked alone, and he worked very effectively alone. And a story that they shared with us when we were there, this is going way back before the border was secure. I mean, they were starting to create what the border of Texas would be versus Mexico. And they had poachers, or whatever you want to call them, come over, and they stole 200 head of cattle from what would be a rancher in the Texas area. And this is a time where that area from our side and the Mexican side was very dangerous. He went down there by himself on his horse, rode through there, found those cattle, and brought them back. Did he let anyone get in his way and stop him? It was very interesting to hear all of that and learn it, but that one single guy, I mean, I can't imagine what this guy must have been like. He must have been a pretty scary kind of character, but he was, they said, one of the best Rangers that they had, because he was good at solving any crime, finding anything, and making stuff happen. So this museum has one of the best and largest collections of firearms that you can find in the United States from the early settlement days of the United States. So it's pretty interesting to go through and see all of that. Another thing I learned about the Rangers is that a lot of them are very family oriented. So you might have someone who's a Texas Ranger here, then his son's a Texas Ranger, then that one, his son's a Texas Ranger, then his son's a Texas Ranger. So generations of Texas Rangers. So they had rooms devoted to the family of Texas Rangers over time. So they have a room dedicated to the last 10 years of the current Texas Rangers as well. So what's neat about the Texas Ranger Museum? It's everything from A to Z. It's the history from the very beginning. It's to where they are today. You're going to learn all kinds of details and all kinds of facts about an important group of men that are still existing today and make a difference in taking care of people in our societies. Very interesting, what they're able to accomplish. I mean, I'm a huge Law and Order fan. SUV, these guys have already got it figured out, so it's pretty interesting. I hope that you find this video interesting. Please give us a thumbs up. Please click the notification bell, because you need to be notified, because who knows where HetteshWorld's going to be next. Please subscribe and comment. And remember, we are HetteshWorld, so come travel in our world. Bye!